Good morning and welcome to Morning Coffee with Rob. Right now, I am going to start off with a quick apology. If you hear a lot of explosions and gunfire, we're not under siege here in Canada. We are playing Gears of War 3 right at the moment on the Xbox. So that's what is happening on the back end of my place. Um, I know there's been a lot of stuff probably in the news as of late as to some things that have been going on. No worries, I am nowhere near that. That is completely on the opposite side of the country. Just a bunch of people who decided to take a freedom road trip all the way to our capital and to protest for freedom. So we are going to just kind of leave it at that because everyone's going to have their own opinions on that. And that is perfectly all right. Everyone is allowed to have their thoughts and feelings on that bad boy. My one thought is it's not as big as I think they were expecting it to be, but that's neither here nor there. That's up to them as to what they want to do. If you are watching this live on any streaming service, I apologize for the weird aspect ratio that I have going on as well. I couldn't figure out how to get restreamed to put me back into widescreen. I'm sure there is a way of doing it. I just couldn't figure it out before we started. So that will be my project to work on next time. So that's kind of a couple things to quickly hit and discuss on. As you could probably see, I am being a lot more myself than what I was on the last video, which was entitled Emotions, where I basically sat and discussed what has been going on in my life for that last little bit and what has happened and transpired and what kind of led me to creating that video. Uh, which, to kind of give a quick recap, if you missed it, because it's not, it'll be coming out again as part of the podcast series on YouTube. Just like this video eventually will also. So you're going to hear this even when the YouTube video comes out. So kind of a quick recap. I promise I'll try not to break down and cry. Um, One of my friends passed away at the beginning, or not at the beginning, but right before the week before Christmas. New Year's Day came around, my car quit working, managed to get it working, and then the next week it quit working. And then my youngest son, Mr. J, who's autistic, our first day back to school after the schools decided to reopen once they figured out some protocols to run with the Omicron variant. They got back up and running, and he had a really bad first day, and the school was having a hard time working with them. They did want to keep him, but they were having a hard time working with them. So I took him and came home and worked from home, which I then got into a little bit of trouble for because I didn't have authorization to work from home. And then the next day, I woke up to my dog Apollo having passed away in my oldest son's room. So that's kind of the quick breakdown on everything. Since then, a couple other things have happened, but we're not going to get into those right now. Um, just because it's very, very personal stuff, and I'd really just not like to discuss it right now because it's stuff that's been taken care of. Taken care of to the best of my ability, taken care of to the best of the ability of the other person that is involved. And things are on the up and up, which is always nice. So that's what we're going to be just discussing, is just getting through feelings and your emotions and kind of understanding where they're at and just kind of becoming better from it all. And that's basically all you can really do in the end, is just feel all those emotions that are coming through and just letting them completely run their course. It may take an hour, it may take a week, it may take a month, potentially could take a year. Sometimes it could maybe even take a lifetime. I don't know. It all depends on what you're trying to go through and how strong of a person you probably are and how in touch with your feelings that you really are and your emotions and how much you know about yourself. I know for me, um, I've gone through things and I've gone through them fairly quickly, where I was able to just kind of grieve something for a day, and then I'm like, okay, I've done this. Like, I had one girl that I was dating beginning of 2021, and we broke up, and I was devastated. I kind of knew it was coming from a couple days prior, but the day it actually happened, I was pretty devastated, and I just went through everything. I went through all the sadness, the grief of the loss of the relationship, and I just went through it and just dealt with it and cried and felt bad and was angry and upset and cried to somebody who would listen and just kind of felt it all. And by the end, like by the next day when I woke up in the morning, man, I was feeling so much better. So much better. It was crazy the amount of uh, betterness I was feeling at that point. And just like with the loss of my beloved pet, it's the same thing. I did not get over that in a day. That actually took a lot longer to get through. It took me um, still kind of going through it, I guess. So I'm not really fully over it. I'm just functioning and feeling a lot better from just kind of working with the feelings and all the emotions that have been tied to his loss, plus everything else that has been going on. So I am feeling quite a lot better with everything as it is. Like I said, 100% definitely not. Um, More like maybe 92% I'm feeling. So it has gotten a lot better, and it is slowly coming a lot better. I've been doing little projects to help me with processing the grief, which, if you follow me on Instagram, you will be able to see some of what I have done to honor my memory of Apollo. Because once I'm done with some of it, I am going to take a picture and post it up there as well. And it's going to look pretty fantastic if I do say so myself. It's been a little work in progress here over the last couple of weeks since he's passed away, and I'm almost at the end of getting it all put together, which I'm pretty excited for. Actually, really excited for because it's really nice and it looks really, really good. So I'm really pretty excited to be able to share it with everybody, and so everyone can see the work that I put into creating this little kind of memorial thing for him, because it is really awesome, and I put a lot of work into it so far, and I'm really pretty stoked about the whole thing. The car is working fine, so my brother got that up and running, and there's no major repairs or anything that needed to be done, which is pretty fantastic as well. Actually, more than pretty fantastic, it is really fantastic that there wasn't a lot that had to be done and dealt with on that kind of level. So I'm really excited that my brother was able to get that up and running. And a big shout out and kudos to him and his friend Kyle for some of the work that they did, and especially my brother because he did the majority of the work and got the timing belt all put back on, looked at things, solved other issues that kind of came up as he was going through it, and has made it a lot better. And the car actually seems to be running even better than what it was for like the last several months, anyhow. Pardon me. So things for 2022 definitely started off on a rocky start. And since then, things have definitely picked up a little bit more. Not necessarily all the way up, but they are definitely getting to a spot where things are moving up, which I knew they would eventually have to. I knew we couldn't stay down in this valley, but it's also part of the reason that you haven't seen a lot come out from me as of late, just because I wanted to really process and handle the grief and get through a lot of what was going on internally, which was like the grief, some of the guilt that I was feeling over my friend and with Apollo passing away. My friend still have a little bit of the guilt there, but it's something I've been able to process a lot more through. I could have been there to listen and try to help in that kind of fashion for her, but ultimately in the end, I health issues, I'm pretty sure, ended up just taking over, and there would have been nothing I probably could have done anyhow. My dog Apollo, we actually discovered randomly through a video that we were watching on YouTube, um, about dogs that only rich people could afford, that he might have suffered through something called bloat, which is pretty fast onsetting. If you don't catch it right away, it's actually really quite fatal. So we're thinking that's potentially what it is that he ended up having, because when I found him in the morning, he was really, really quite bloated, and not just like death bloated. Like he put on, like he was really bloated up and quite solid feeling. So that really alleviated a lot of the guilt there by able to find out that he really kind of potentially passed away from the fact that he got this bloat, or whatever the medical term is for it, which I will try to find at some point again. And yeah, it's literally something that's fatal when it comes on, and it's not something I knew he had or was suffering from, and that's why it was such a shock. Just he was super healthy and everything was going well, and just all of a sudden waking up to that, it was, yeah, it was heartbreaking. So managed to randomly find a way to kind of get past the guilt on that one, which was super super helpful. Um, but yeah, it's kind of the weirdest randomest thing. That's not even something I knew, and I even said, like, when I called called my mom for help, I was like, "Yeah, he's just really bloated. Like he's just, yeah." And then even my brother said, like, "Yeah, he's really kind of bloated up, and it whatever it is, it's like some sort of weird gastral something or other, and it just caused him to bloat, which is exactly, I think, what happened, and it's sad, and it's very heartbreaking, and there's nothing I can really do about it. But that's kind of where I'm at with that one. Just managed to kind of finally get away from some of the guilt on that one a little bit more so, and yeah, like I said, feeling better. I go to my normal regular job, and I still feel a little hollow there. Definitely, it's not as fulfilling I would like. So I am going to be definitely pushing harder on getting my website updated with information in the next, over probably over February, because over February as well, I'm also going to be working on um, no sugar and reduced carbs to try to lose a little bit more weight, which I did last February, and it was bloody fantastic. I'm going to see this year if I can keep continuing it on, because I would really like something, a few things more positive than how my year started, to really kind of push it forward a lot more. So I would really like that to be definitely something that comes up and works out more. So that's kind of the end goal there for that, is to be able to just create that positivity that I need for the rest of 2022, because like I said, it has not started off well. It's been definitely a rough month. January has not been the best to me. Um, and talking with others, I've noticed that for whatever reason, this January hasn't been a good January for a lot of people. I'm not sure what's going on exactly there, but that seems to be the case for a lot of folks. I know there's one Monday in the year, and it came and went already, and it's dubbed the Blue. I think it's the Blue Monday, where it's supposed to be the most depressing, saddest time of year for pretty much everybody in the northern hemisphere. And it I mean, I was already down, so I mean, I didn't feel any more down, which was good. But it definitely is something that does affect people. This seasonal depression definitely does play factors in for a lot of people, so I can see that definitely being a thing. And I know a lot of people get affected by stuff like this, and feel like they get affected by um, lunar cycles as well. I don't feel like I'm somebody who has those kinds of swings in that kind of instance. Maybe I do and just don't recognize it, which is definitely a possibility. I'm not going to say yes or no on that one. It's just how I kind of feel about the whole thing, I guess. I don't know. And yeah, so I'm really looking forward to getting kind of back on the wagon and started producing more content again, start writing back in the blog, which I started an article like 3 weeks ago and just, I haven't completed it because of everything that's going on. It was just really hard to kind of get in the mood to work on it. I definitely was a lot more in the mood to write in my journal and just kind of express my feelings and thoughts that way. And then creating the video I did 2 weeks ago about kind of where I was at and how I was feeling. That was another one that I really wanted to get out and really kind of help myself feel quite a bit better as well, which it definitely did. And most everybody was very accepting of it. I did have a couple people who weren't, and that's okay. Like they got that I needed to do this, but at the same time they were a little hurt that I had gone this route. And like I said, that's okay. Kind of resolve that a little bit more so. And I don't blame anyone for thinking that what I'm doing is selfish or that they think it's some sort of pity me party when I put out a video like that. Because maybe it kind of was. I'm like, I don't know. From my perspective, it was just me trying to share my feelings and what I'm going through and the struggle because it hurts. It's really terrible. And as a guy, and the pressures that are put on um, societally, is that guys typically aren't supposed to be emotional beings. We're kind of like hard rocks that, you know, don't feel much beyond the three H's, which is happy, hungry, and horny, and then throw in some anger dashed across all that probably as well. And that's pretty much the extent of how we're supposed to really feel. Guys aren't supposed to really cry. We're not supposed to feel a broad range of anything. And that's just generationally passed down and through society. And it is pretty rough. And you can see that it's being pushed upon women now as well, which isn't good either. We are not logical beings. We're very much emotional beings. And it gets said over and over and over again in different videos from different people that we don't buy logically, we buy emotionally, and we back it up with logic, which is pretty true. Like I can't say that it is not true. I know I buy on feeling a lot of times, and then I try to back it up with logic. And if I can't, I send it back. But more often than not, I can typically back it up with logic. And as people, we should be feeling all our feelings. That's part of what being human is having these emotions and just getting through them and feeling them and understanding them and developing the tools to try to work with them again. And I'm sure somebody has told me this once before, and I know they probably have because I'm pretty sure I haven't come up with this on my own. I'm smart, but I'm not that smart. I'm not any kind of genius of any kind. I rely on other people as well to help me understand and get through things also because like I said, I'm smart, but I'm not a genius and I'm not that smart. I'm only semi smart. So I do rely on others to try and help me figure these kinds of things out. So if I'm not giving you the proper props on this as well, I'm sorry. I don't remember where I've heard, read, or seen things a lot of the times or who I've discussed things with all the time. I don't keep that detailed of a record on those kinds of things. And maybe I should, because then I can give the people the proper props on helping me and getting the information to me so I can relay it in my best way possible, which is me writing it down into a blog or verbalizing it through a video or some sort of audio recording and just passing along through my experience. That's the best way I can do it. And if I'm not giving you the proper recognition on it, I am completely sorry. I do try to make sure I cite my sources, but I literally don't remember where they all come from. There's just so many of them and so many people in my life that I can't remember where they're all from. Even those who are super special to me, I really apologize if I didn't get the correct information out and citing you for that correct information. You probably gave it to me in some kind of fashion, and I absorbed it, and I probably heard it elsewhere, and I might have even miscited it. Maybe I gave props to somebody else, and I should have given it to you. And I am extremely sorry for that. It's not what I mean to do. It's just I don't always remember, and sometimes what I do remember, I remember somebody else giving it, or I read it from somewhere else. And you're probably the one I should have given the props to because you were probably the last one who told me all about it. And I'm sorry. I I try to, like I said, I try to make sure everyone gets the correct recognition on these things. And sometimes I flub up, and sometimes I give credit to the wrong person or give credit to somebody that I know I got something from, and I just might not have been the most current person who told it to me in a way that probably resonated with me even actually better than what the person I'm giving the credit to. Like I probably just remember it because I probably read it and I had a discussion with somebody, and then for whatever reason the two pieces clicked, and I just remember it being from the other person and not the person who told me about it that really resonated properly with me. And I'm only human. I'm imperfect, and I can only do what I can do. And yeah, I mean that's kind of my update as who I am and what's going on with me at this point. So yeah, things are slowly getting back to my normal. I'm not 100% feeling quite like myself, but I'm getting really damn close. Um, because I've been writing in my journal, I've been working through the emotions and the feelings, and there's been a lot that has come up for January. Like I said, and I know other people are going through a lot more than what I am, and a lot worse things than I am. So this is just me talking about what I'm going through, not trying to minimize what other people are going through or maximize what other people are going through. Like I'm just trying to relay what I'm going through wherever it falls on the spectrum of being hurt and being in pain. Because for me, this is a lot, and I know for others, like, oh, that's minor. I'm going through all this heaps of other stuff, and this is like, yeah, like you are going through heaps of other stuff. And I'm like, I totally applaud you for trying to get through all this and getting help and being able to recognize when you need the help and having that support network around and being able to do all the stuff and work with others and just put yourself out there and working through everything because trying to get through some of the stuff is not easy, especially if you're trying to do it on your own. Like having at least one other person to walk alongside you makes a world of difference. It helps so much more. Whether it's your kids, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, husband, wife, a lover, a partner, friends, family, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, cousins, whoever. It just having that one extra person helps to no end. To have them there just to be able to lean on just that little bit or a lot, depending on how much you need to lean, and having you be able to have them be able to lean back on you when they need. It's just there's just something magical about having that one extra person or that team of people to just have your back and be able to help you and sit with you and listen. And I can't even count the amount of people I've had just reach out. Well, I probably can count them. I just can't remember all of who they are now because there's been so many of them, um, and it's just been so much help. And there was one person in particular who just really picked up the ball and ran with me for a while, even though I did inadvertently upset them. She was just such an amazing help for that period when I really needed it. And it's just too bad things didn't end up working out. We could there was just so much potential and so much good between us that it just yeah, I just can't thank her enough. Like there was just so much she did to help me and get through a lot of this that I I don't even know how to say thank you to her. Like it's just so much good that she did for me and my family at the point when I really really needed it. I just she came over. She made breakfast. She held me. She let me cry. She came over and just did a little extra to help me get through it. She said it was no big deal. She would have done it for anybody, but it made me feel special, and it helped so much. And then I've had a lot of friends also come along and help a lot. One of them, we actually had a really good discussion. We messaged back and forth. She sent like a really long audio message over Facebook Messenger, um, which really made me happy as well because she told me a lot of how she feels as well and how she kind of sees our friendship and how she kind of sees me as a person, and it it really helped elevate how I felt. And it's a huge thing to have those kinds of people in your corner. And I've had some friends that were long time friends reach back out to that I had probably talked to a huge amount in the last few years that I've known since I was in kindergarten, if not before. And they reached out and they pardon me, and they let me know that they are there for me no matter what. And I can reach out if I ever need anything from them. And they know they can reach out to me too if they ever need anything. Because I've known you guys for so long. Like, why would I not be there for you as well, right? It's just you all just mean so much to me. Damn it! I told myself I wasn't gonna cry. Ah, just so many people have just made life awesome. You guys are special, and I love you all. Fantastic people. You know who's really fantastic though? My kids. Just saying, they've been little rock stars through this. They've made me laugh. They've given me hugs, patted me on the head, gave me a cookie, and told me I was a good dad. They just entertain me so much, and they just keep me on my toes. That really, I don't know what I would have done without them being around in some sort of fashion and just being there as I got through it all. We just kind of worked together as a family and got through a lot of the pain. And for that, I just want to tell them specifically, and I tell them every day that I love them, and I think that they're fantastic, and I'm so proud of them. I would call them little men, but they're almost bigger than I am now. They're the one's taller than me, and the one's almost as tall as me. So Miss Aid Man is about as tall as I am. Actually, he's probably taller now, but shh, don't tell him. And Mr. J, he's almost as tall as I am, and not super high or super tall. I am about average height of 5'9.5". So being that they're 15 and 13, they're going to be tall kids. They're going to be tall adults, and they're going to be fantastic people, as they already are. As they grow into their adulthood, they're just going to be so amazing, so much more amazing because they're already amazing. And for them, I just if it wasn't for them, I don't know how I would have gotten through a lot of it. So it's a big shout out to them for everything they've done. And to all of you who watch and listen to me ramble on and watch my videos and listen to my podcast, I just want to say a huge thank you to you as well. Uh, Life isn't always easy, and nor should it always be easy. Because without the struggle, you don't know what lies on the good side, right? Like some of life should be a little bit harder so you can really appreciate the goodness that comes out of everything. And I just want to say if you are struggling or need help or you're just looking for someone to talk to, just reach out. There's always somebody around, I'm sure. May not always be easy, and asking for help isn't easy, especially when we get the idea of self made people being shoved down our throats constantly by social media and mainstream regular media, because that's just totally not true. They may have started an idea and created a business of some kind, but there's always, almost always, anyway, people that are backing them up. The super successful, pardon me, rely on other people to get to where they are. They're not running the whole show. Bezos isn't running all of Amazon. He's got other people in place. He's got a board. He's got presidents and CEOs and employees and all those folks running the show. Elon Musk isn't 100% running Tesla. He's not on the floor building the cars. He's not designing all the cars. He's not ordering the parts and selling them. He's he created the company and he has other people running it. Like he's got a whole team backing him on this, so he's not completely exactly self-made. He's come up with ideas and has worked with teams. Everybody in some sort of fashion works with teams. Richard Branson's come up with ideas and businesses and he works with teams. And he's my favorite example because I think he's a great guy. And everyone that you see on social media who works in one of his companies thinks the Virgin Group is absolutely fantastic and just loves working there and working for those companies. And I can see why he seems like a really fun dude. He really does try to, I think, take the employee perspective as something to foster and to understand more of to provide that better service. So, but the point is he's the head of the Virgin Group, and he's like the president or the CEO, whatever title he's using, if he's using a title. But he's not running the entire company. He's got other people in places and partnerships and employees that are running the companies for him because he can't do it all. Like if you're starting off like a small little thing, you might be able to do it on your own for a tiny bit, but you're gonna have to start adding extra people to start being able to do more. So anyway, I'm getting off topic here. I wanted to give a bit of an update as to me. I guess maybe it's not off topic because I do have a group of people in the bigger group than I kind of thought. In all honesty, I had a few more people than I really realized that would reach out to just say that they're there for me, that they got my back, and to lend assistance and to try to help in some kind of fashion in whatever way they can. And I think ultimately that's kind of where we go from there is make sure that whatever's going on in life, just make sure you have a person or two to help you out. And sometimes just putting a little blurb out somewhere can get you that help. All I did was I put a Facebook post about how I'm hating 2022, and I thought it was like the worst year. And then because Facebook doesn't give me enough stuff to put how I'm feeling, I put Rob feels and blah 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 blah, and people reached out because that that isn't normal for me. Like I don't put posts out like this. I'm not that person normally. Like if I'm putting something out there like this, it's like obviously I need help. Like I am in a bad spot and I don't know what to do. I don't know where to turn. I really just needed somebody there to reach out. And I had a lot of people reach out and yeah, super grateful for everyone who did. Anyway, I need to get on with my day. So I am going to sign off. If you would like to continue talking or would like to reach out and ask some questions, you can do so on Twitter. I am at Eldorabo over there, which is ELDEROBBO. or if you'd like to see some of the fun adventures and micro adventures and some behind the scenes kinds of things as well, you can head over to Instagram and find me at Eldorado there as well. If you'd like to join our fun community, you can do so on Discord at Abundance Brotherhood. I think I have to send you an invite link if you can't find it. So you can hit me up on Twitter for that part as well, or over on my website at rob-hicks.com. I don't like the dash, but it's the best I could do with a .com. I should have gone with .ca probably, since I am Canadian and I didn't need the dash. But that's a story for another time, I'm sure. You can also support me over on Patreon. You just look for Eldorado again, ELDEROBBO. And if you're liking what you see, you can support me that way if you would like. Or we have this great merch shop over at rob-hicks.com/shop. rob-hicks.com/shop. Oh my goodness, that's a tongue twister. Anyway, go buy some merch. It's pretty sweet stuff. And that's my episode for today. I hope you had a good time with me, and thank you for joining me for the full nearly 38 minutes now. I appreciate you all, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. All right, until next time, ride hard, live long. We will see you all later. Adios.